up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you.
So last week you said that you need to get hot. Was what we saw Sunday, does that qualify as hot? And what does hot kind of have to look like the next few weeks? Because we have seen, like in 16, what hot really looks like.
Yeah, it's efficiency. It's being good with the checks, and then making some plays. I think there were a few plays in the game where kind of had to make something happen. The 4th and 10 throw, obviously to Gmo, and the check to Big Dog on the goal line. I'm going to have to make some of those plays, I think, to especially in some of these big games we got coming down the stretch.
So every December, you've talked about let's try and get to first or second seed so we can get these guys a Lambeau in the postseason. And I always thought, yeah, but he probably wouldn't mind playing in a dome either. However, I thought Sunday you let the weather work to your advantage more there. You're the most experienced guy. I mean, do you feel that that's part of your game now, that you could work that ball better in that kind of condition?
I've always enjoyed the no-wind indoor conditions, and I think the stats probably bear that out pretty good. But the older I get, the more I appreciate the speed levels kind of equaling out to my own at times in the cold weather and the snow. Like I said after the game, I was a little worried that the sleet was going to make it a little more difficult to throw the ball, but those nice big flakes made throwing the football not an issue. And the cold is a factor. And it's not like we're a bunch of Wisconsin folks who were born and raised here, but I think you learn to deal with the elements a little bit better. You spend 8 months a year here, and when I go back to California, I laugh at all the Californians, wearing long sleeves and coats in 60-degree weather. I'm thinking, man, this is short weather, short sleeves, Get the Speedo out or something, maybe.
Aaron, you've also said just get into the playoffs and see what happens on occasion. But when you look around the NFC with 4 or 5 really good teams, is maybe the 1 or 2 seed and the bye and the home field maybe more important this year than it might normally be?
I think the NFC is as deep as I've seen it in a long time, especially with the number of teams that have 8 or more wins. I think home field advantage will definitely help, and you've seen some of the bigger games this year from some of the top seeds. Well, the home field advantage has meant something in those games, so we'd love to be one of those top 2 seeds and have to have a team come to us after a week break, but we got a long way to go until we get there, and we got to get this one this week and get to 10 and then start talking about some of those things.
After all these road games lately, Aaron, what can it mean for this team that you're back home for back-to-back home games at this stage of the season when you're trying to build and make that push?
Well, I think the key is to get that home field advantage, and we need our crowd as loud as possible. But the noon games always start a little bit slower over the years, it seems. But we need to early alarm clock for our fans, and get out there, get the tailgating going, get the PBR flowing, and or the Lionies or the Miller, whatever you choose, and let's get that thing roaring for kickoff, because we need the support from our fans. Get them loud when they're on offense, right from the first down to the last.
Aaron, you guys have tried a bunch of different things in the return game, and made another change. How much would it help the offense just to get something out of that aspect?
Yeah, I did see a stat about our return yardage being a little bit low historically. I think we've done a nice job of punting the ball, a nice job of kicking the ball. We've covered, like last week, covered really well on kickoff and done a nice job, I think in our net punting game. We just got to do a little bit better job in our own return game. I think we've done a nice job of, not bringing out some of those fringe ones, just taking it to 25, but we do need to get an explosive gain here, especially, when it comes down to some of these crunch time games, to have a explosive gain on the return would be really nice.
Aaron, in terms of avoiding complacency, is just the proximity to the playoffs and the end of the year enough to get guys energized regardless of the opponent?
Yeah, I think the only thing you worry about this time of the year is that proverbial rookie wall and it's talking through those young guys because it's a long season. We're in our 17th game, coming up for a lot of them, and most guys in college are playing 12, maybe 13 with a bowl game. So it's a long season for those guys. They've been, finished their season. They trained all off season. They've been through off season program and training camp, and just to push through this time right now because they can, and that rookie wall is only as big or as strong as you make it. So we've been talking to those guys about how important it is to do little things to make sure your body is ready for the grind of December and playoff football.
Is the Big Dog Audible reusable, or can you only use that once because people might know who it's going to?
Well, there's other nicknames for Big Dog, so we're going to have to work in some of those other ones.
Aaron, I think my first year here was 2014. You turned 31 that year, won an MVP. Obviously turned 36 this year. How much has your game changed from that point where you were then, both physically and also mentally too? I mean, how much has the game changed for you?
Well, it's definitely slower. I think that really does happen, and it's the feel when you're on the field. I do feel like there's times where the speed is very manageable, and the speed is often misconstrued as some sort of physical thing. It's really the mental speed of being able to think in real time very quickly and to be able to have a relaxed feel that accompanies that. And I think the experience of so many years being a starter really helps with that. I think I'm definitely more cerebral. I was never looking to run more. I do tease Manny and Tim that I still have some wheels, but the key for me in the off season has been to really make sure my legs are ready to go. As Mike and I talked about for years, the quarterback's arm is going to be as strong as you want it to be, and be able to throw at 50. It's just, can your legs do it? And I feel good about what I've done in the off seasons, and I feel good about where I'm at going into week 14 with how my legs feel, how my wind feels, and being able to still do everything I want to do on the field.
Do you feel the same physically with your arm strength, the legs that you did then? Does it feel the same as it did?
Yeah, I think I have even a little sharper muscle memory and able to layer the football better. I think with every year I've been in the league, and when I first got in the league, it was a lot of one-speed throws, just lasers on a line, and I think over the years I really learned how to put touch on the ball and use eye discipline and use my legs to put myself in a position to make more accurate throws.
Back to Mercedes, Aaron. You've had a lot of teammates over the years and some older ones, but what is it specifically about Mercedes that makes your bond so good? It's only been here for 16, 18 months.
That makes what so good?
Your bond.
Oh, well, just the way he carries himself. I mean, he's a true professional. I just think last year was such a telling season. You got a guy who's been to Pro Bowls, who's had double-digit touchdown seasons, and to have a very limited role in the passing game, but to see his attitude the entire year and his leadership opportunities taken the way that they were taken was a thing of beauty. And as an older player, I already had a ton of respect for him, but it just went way up when I saw his approach every single day. And then, like I've said, here many times, the key, I think, for him this year is really feeling like he has a role in the offense. And when you give a role to somebody, you fill them up with purpose and energy, and you give him a directive. And it's allowed him to be an even bigger leader and role model for the guys in his room. He's taken advantage, I think, a lot more of speaking opportunities. Like I said after the Niner game, he said some incredible words to us, and he's done that on a regular basis all season. So I just have so much respect for his ability to feel those moments and to understand what exactly needs to be said clearly and direct and to the point and not mixing words. It just shows what kind of person he is, and I just have a ton of respect for that.
Aaron, Zadarius told us after the game that a bunch of you guys went to Matt and had a conversation last week. What was the impetus for that, and what do you think it accomplished?
Well, we've always had some form of a leadership committee over the years, and he was talking. Him and I, have a lot of conversations about the pulse of the team and our leadership responsibilities on the other side of the ball, and it was just, I think, bringing some more older guys into the mix and talking about everything from the little things to things, to some bigger things, and making sure we're on the same page, and it's been a good thing.
I think it was LA. Yeah, both saw it pretty good on an action fake. You had another one Sunday. What's the key to selling that?
Patience. You just have to have have the timing and the patience and to kind of let rather let your head go or let your hand go and try and sync it up as much as you can to what a run would look like. And a lot of guys are trying to spin out of there a little quick, worrying about getting drilled. Not that I haven't been drilled on an action pass before, but you just have to have a little bit of patience with that. And I give a lot of credit to Alex Van Pelt. We spent an entire offseason working on fakes, and I think he really helped my fake game.
Only about a third of this locker room has been in the playoffs. When that time comes, is that a good thing, a bad thing, or neither?
Well, I mean, I've been in the playoffs, so that helps with the experience, I think. And I think, like I said last week, ignorance can be bliss when it comes to some of that, because they might not feel the same type of pressure, not having been there or understand kind of the change in it. But there'll be a lot of communication once we're in that position about the expectations and how the speed maybe amps up just a little bit.
Aaron, earlier today, Matt LaFleur was asked about team identity and whether it's more important to try to fine-tune that identity as you progress through the season or just try to win each game. He said it's about winning each game, the rest is up to you. Does the identity of this team really tend to be adaptability this year more than other years that you've been in?
I think that the identity is embracing your role. I really do, and I think, as I've talked about with Mercedes, or Jimmy, or Kyler Fackrell, or Blake Martinez, or Jamal Williams, or Geronimo Allison, there's been a lot of guys who've really had to embrace a specific role this year. And I think the beauty in seeing the chemistry of the team and the personality of the team has been the response from those guys. That it hasn't been bitching and worrying about their own stats or ego. It's been an embracing of the challenge and of the responsibility. And I think with that responsibility comes a lot of accountability as well. And I think guys have embraced their roles, and it's collectively made us a lot tighter group and a better team.
Aaron, so Washington was down by 14. They came back and they ran the ball. Sacked the quarterback 7 times. What's your biggest concern about this matchup Sunday against the Redskins, where they're coming from?
Yeah, I mean, they have a great front. They really get after the passer. I think they're playing better on the back end the last 3 or 4 weeks for sure. But they obviously have a couple really good runners on that side of the ball too, so we're going to have to stop the run and to start fast and offensively kind of get going early so we can make them a little more one-dimensional.
Is there an area you see as a real focus for improvement for this team over the final month? Is there an area that you see as a focus of improvement for this team over the final month?
That's consistency in the third down game. I think we were better last week, but the games where we've really struggled with our play count and with our production has been when we've been really bad on third downs. And we converted 2, 10 pluses last week, which helped us for sure. But we got to be more consistent on third down.
You played in a lot of meaningful Decembers, obviously, in your career. Some that weren't as meaningful. You talked earlier about getting yourself in shape and everything in the offseason. Now that you're in meaningful games, is that one of the things that really kind of drove you through the offseason and keeps you going at this stage?
Yeah, that and seeing the 18th hole coming up, realizing I can't play forever and the opportunities don't come along all the time. I could feel the energy of this team early in April and May that it was a different feel. And that's what spurred me, I think, in the summertime to kind of forego some of the traveling I would maybe usually do and make sure I was dialed in once training camp came around because I felt like we could do something special this year.
What hole are you on?
I mean, I'm making the turn, I think.
I might just be speculating here, but I feel like coaches who get the most praise in this league are ones who guide their team to the most improvement, like a Shanahan, or ones who lose a quarterback like Sean Payton for say. How integral or how much credit should Matt get for how this team has done this season?
He should get a lot of credit. I think he's set the vision from day one when he got here. He had a simple set of rules, and there's an expectation of doing your part. And I think his ability with his staff on both sides of the ball and what Brian brought in of really giving guys specific roles and challenging them to embrace those roles and to get the most out of that responsibility they had, I think is the beauty in what he brought in. I think he's empowered people to give more of themselves, and as they've given more of themselves, I think there's been a natural calm that's come over the team, and when guys are more relaxed, guys are more confident, guys are more themselves, and I give him and the leadership of the football team a lot of credit for that.
This year, Matt has emphasized the ball so much, and that's something that you seem to, in your career, have emphasized so much, ball security. Is that just the perfect marriage of mindsets between the coach and the quarterback?
Well, everybody emphasizes the ball. I mean, it's all about taking care of the football and that turnover ratio. You know, it's something I've done pretty well over the years. It's always been important to me. You know, I realized when I was a young player, if I turned the ball over, I wasn't going to see the field. And I'm talking about when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, you know, and on into junior college when I was in a quarterback battle, and at Cal when I was in a quarterback battle, I had to take care of the football. And that was important. So it's always been a part of my game. You're going to get what you emphasize, and we emphasize the ball all the time, and we've done a nice job on offense of not turning over a whole lot.
We've been talking to you about throwing the ball to Aaron. I know it didn't maybe get the yardage, but you got 6 targets last week, which was more than you had in the previous 3 games. Is that more of a game plan schematic, or is it just you looking to him more?
I think it's more game plan. You know, we had some plays for him for sure, where he was, you know, maybe the second look. Which is early in the progression, obviously. But, you know, we'd love to get the ball to him, you know, in that 15 to 20 every game, give him a chance to get in space. The beauty is, you know, Jamal has played really well this year. And he's ran the ball tough. He's caught the ball in the passing game. He's done well in the screen game. He's done well in protection. So we really have a great gift with those 2 guys in the backfield.
After the game on Sunday, you mentioned timing on offense was an issue. What do you see?
Issue. I don't know if I said issue.
Okay, so what are you seeing there, and how do you improve on that when there's you're 3.5 months, 4 months into things?
Well, I think it's just about the plays. You know, I think, like I mentioned, you get what you emphasize. You know, what we rep in practice, and the more times we see certain plays, we're going to get what we rep. You know, what we're emphasizing, the plays we want to see, the results and the efficiency is going to come from that. So if we want to be better with our timing and more efficient, you know, we need to keep repping those plays that are going to be called in crunch situations.
Oh yeah. Young Moolah, baby.